Good afternoon, dear friends. I'm Jigmey Dorje Lama from Vishwabharati University, Shantiniketan. I'm a research fellow over there working on philosophy. I'm also a Tibetan Buddhist, and so I hope to give the Buddhist perspective on how peace can be built. And I'm very grateful to the Atlantic Institute for giving me an opportunity to speak at the Peace Builders Conference. Thank you. His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, "We can never obtain peace in the outer world unless we are at peace with ourselves." And from that, let me start. We are reminded each day that we hold the power to create a peaceful world. But first, we must understand peace as well as the means to realize it. Peace is not merely a state of non-violence or absence of war. Today, our world is suffering from multidimensional crises such as terrorism, denial of human rights, economic inequality, racial discrimination, religious intolerance, nationalism, poverty, starvation, ecological imbalance, natural calamities, so on and so forth. I hope to provide an insight into peace and peace building through wisdom and compassion. So, what is a meaningful definition of peace? As a Buddhist and Dharma practitioner, I would like to offer a Buddhist perspective on peace. I would like to discuss the dimensions of peace, such as inner and global peace, and also need to understand the root cause of the absence of peace. For us, compassion and mankind shows us the way forward. It serves as a guidance from the path towards creating and preserving peace. According to Buddhism, Samutpada, Lord Buddha had started his own entire Buddhist religion as a way to find a way how to end suffering in this world. He found out that everything on this world had a cause, and it was in itself had a cause and was an effect in itself, and itself was the cause of some other effect. So similarly, he found out what the cause of suffering was. Similarly, I try to follow the same path in trying to find out what is the cause of violence in the world and how we can obtain peace. Peace does not mean the absence of conflicts. Differences will always be there. Peace means solving these differences through peaceful means, through dialogue, education, knowledge, and through humane ways. This is again a statement made by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Peace has always been among humanity's highest values, and yet we agree a little on what peace is. Perhaps the most popular view is freedom from or cessation of war or violence. It also is the primary dictionary definition. Most people think they know what peace is, but in fact different people often have different understandings of this seemingly simple word. The simplest understanding may be that just like happiness, harmony, justice, and freedom, peace is something that is often recognized by its absence. Peace, however, is also concerned or a state of harmony and tranquility. It is a matter of peace of mind, of serenity, a state of justice or goodness, a balance of equilibrium. Peace could also be broadened to refer to the internal state of mind or heart, or to external relations and environments. Or it may be narrow in conception, referring to specific relations in a particular situation, like a treaty of peace, or overarching such as world peace. Peace may be a dichotomy if it exists or it does not exist. Johan Golden, a Norwegian sociologist, mathematician, and principal founder of the discipline of peace and conflict studies, proposed peace and as also being positive and negative. Peace is called negative when it is defined by what it is not. So the definition of negative peace is the absence of war, conflict, violence, physical, psychical, moral, natural, and structural, repression or evil. Such a definition of peace are considered empty, focusing on what is absent. Positive peace is defined by what it actually is. So the definition of positive Peace is the presence of serenity, harmony, well-being, shared values, respect, acceptance, and heartedness, sorry. Now I come to what conflict is. Peace can only be there where human rights are respected, where the people are fed, and where individuals and nations are free. This is another statement made by the Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Human beings have basic needs. Everyone needs to be recognized as an individual with a personal identity, and everyone needs to be able to feel safe. If these needs are not met, people protest, which would lead to rebellion and violence. Many people find their identity and security in their own cultural group and what it represents, which would lead to clashes between different cultural groups, also lead to a bigger disputes that could in turn lead to aggression and violence. The way the society is organized could also lead to conflict and the conditions in which is likely to occur. Any society which is organized so that people are treated unequally and unjustly is likely to erupt into conflict. Another cause of conflict could be attributed to culture that can create language and behavior that excludes people, creating us and them situations and further acts of discrimination, intolerance, and hate. Conflicts arise when people are competing for the same resources such as territory, jobs, and income, housing, and the same applies to natural resources, cultivable land, fresh water, etc. Conflicts may also arise when people are unhappy with how they are governed. The most common conflicts occur when a particular group want to be independent from external government, or when their viewpoint isn't represented in the government, or when the government oppresses them and doesn't respect or meet their basic needs. They may also arise when people's beliefs clash. Religious and political views are particularly sensitive because people often depend on these for a sense of identity and belonging. That is, this is my religion and that is yours. It may be somewhat different and then they lead to clashes. In the same way, ethnic differences can cause conflict or be made to cause it. Again, people's ethnicity gives them a sense of identity and belonging, and it is threats to this sense which can cause violent responses. You believe that you belong to this ethnic group or this identity, and if someone says anything against it, you come up hammer and tongs against it, and which leads to violence. Conflicts of all kinds, it would seem, most frequently arise when people are threatened regardless of whether the threat is real. Some person might just tell you that he's doing something against, and you tend to believe it. You're very sensitive to your own religion, and anything which is said, you got very itchy about it. The other issue is unmanaged conflict and how even small conflicts escalate and intensify to their own momentum. To understand and revolve these, we need to understand ourselves, our feelings, our relationships, and our fear. There are 3 different types of conflicts. Conflicts within ourselves, conflicts with others, conflict within a group, or conflict with other groups. Conflict within ourselves occurs when an individual is in a problem. He thinks, should I go and eat a burger at McDonald's or should I go and have one at Burger King? He's confused, what should I do? So this is a conflict which can arise within a person. Then when he's with his girlfriend says, nah, we'll go and have a pizza at Domino's, and he thinks I'll go and have a burger at Burger King because I like the burger better over there. So there's a conflict over there also. Now let's come back to it. Similarly, it arises from a group might have a different conflict, and so on and so forth. And finally, when a nation thinks that we have a different views, so that's how it goes. Conflicts within a group is a type of conflict that happens among individuals within a group. The accompaniments and or misunderstandings among these groups may lead to an intergroup conflict. It will arise from interpersonal disagreements or differences, views and ideas. Conflicts with other groups takes place when, that's all I have said. To recognize that conflicts, but we must remember one thing, and recognize it that to recognize that conflict is not the problem. The objective is how it is managed. Okay, everyone has problems with each other. I had a problem with my girlfriend. She wanted to go and have a pizza and Domino's. If we would have violently slapped each other, that problem would never have got solved. But as we were able to solve it peacefully, the entire problem was solved and we are at peace with each other. To recognize that conflict is not the problem. The objective is how it is managed. That's what I meant to say. And to explore the many different levels at which conflict manifests and ultimately to sustain the peace-building efforts. We can remember that we have conflicts with each other, but we should always remember that we are at peace at many other levels. Now I shall come on to, okay. Now I'm going to speak about compassion and peace building. We need an essentially new way of thinking of mankind of how mankind is to survive. Men must actually change their attitudes towards each other and their views of future. Force must no longer be an instrument of politics. Today we do not have much time left. It is up to our generation to succeed in thinking differently. If we fail, the days of civilized humanity are numbered. This was made by not Dalai Lama and by Albert Einstein. His Holiness Dalai Lama says that both basic human nature is to be gentle, and that the greater degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. The basic understanding in conflict resolution is based on this notion as well. All the skills and tools we have are basically a means to achieve a compassionate state of mind. So that's what basically Buddhism teaches, that we are all compassionate beings, and if we try to spread compassion to ourselves and to the world, we will be able to achieve a peaceful world. Thank you. Thank you very much. I had to cut many parts.